All right, so today I am going to be explaining how to measure. So since this is a presentation, I am going to remove my mask since I am far enough away from all of you. Now, today what we're going to cover is the different measuring tools as well as the proper way to measure different types of ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to start with today is a review over our dry measuring cups. And if you recall from when we organized our kitchens, we have 4 dry measuring cups. Who can remember the 4 amounts? We have a
1 cup.
What else?
Half
A half a cup,
a quarter cup,
a quarter cup,
and then
and a third of a cup. Now, with these 4 amounts, we are able to make all sorts of different measurement totals. So we could do 2/3 by measuring the 1/3 2 times. We could measure you need to get out of that chair. We could measure 1.5 by using the 1 plus the half cup. Oops. We could measure 3/4. How would I measure 3/4?
you use a cup.
Anna?
Do 3 1/3.
Nope.
3 1/4 cup.
3 1/4 would equal 3/4. We could also get a half of a cup by measuring with our 1/4 dry measuring cup 2 times. Okay? Now, the first ingredient I want to show you how to measure is white sugar. Now, white sugar is granular, just like salt. And when you measure white sugar, you need to remember that it is not fluffy and it fills in all the spaces. So if I took 1/4 of a cup and I wanted to measure white sugar, I would scoop it into my sugar container. What's this tool called?
Straight edge spatula.
Excellent. I would use my straight edge spatula and level it off. I now have exactly 1/4 cup of white sugar. And this is the same way you would use it if you were measuring salt, because it's a very similar consistency. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in there. So white sugar. Would I ever want to measure white sugar with a liquid measuring cup?
No.
Who can tell me why? Yeah.
Because it's not a liquid.
Because it's not a liquid. Exactly. You are a smart dude. Now, the next ingredient we're gonna learn to measure is flour. Now, we typically use all-purpose white flour in this class, but there's a very particular way to measure it. So I need how about Hoyt? Hoyt, can you come on up here? Hoyt, would you please measure 1/4 cup of flour into this 1/4 measuring cup, and we're gonna see what it weighs. So, Monster, you're gonna turn this on by pushing the power button on. Now, when I put this bowl on top of this, it weighs something. I don't wanna know what it weighs. Go ahead and measure. I don't wanna know what this Mundi. I don't want to measure the bowl, so we need to make it all zeros. Like erase the weight of the bowl. So push tare until it's all zeros. Okay, wait, how did you get the flour in there? He scooped it in and then he leveled it off. Go ahead and put that flour right in here. Rosemary, you're gonna write scooped. And can you tell us the amount?
31
31 what?
grams.
31 grams. Okay. Let's put it back. Who thinks he measured that correctly? Nobody? Does somebody have a better way? You're not moving. Do you think you have a better way?
No, I'm saying that I think he worded it right.
You think he measured it right? Who thinks he did not measure it right and has a different way? JC, did you have a better way? Or maybe not. Maybe we should try packing it in. Have you ever thought of packing it in?
Yeah. Or then wouldn't it be heavier?
Well, let's find out. Hoyt, would you go ahead and just pack some flour in there? And would you please tear out the scale? Here's a spoon, or you can just pack it down with this if you want to, Hoyt.
What?
Yeah. And just make sure it's in there nice and tight. Like push it down in there. Like this. Just kind of tricky. Okay. Now, tear that out. Is it still teared? 0, 0, 0.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and wait. Let's see what packed is. So Rosemary, you're gonna write packed.
34 grams.
34, so it's a little more. So the last way, I'm gonna show you what to do. So wait, you can slow down, or you can sit down, not slow down. You're
34.
34, Rosemary. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my 1/4 cup measuring cup, and I'm gonna show you the proper way to measure flour. You never scoop it, you never pack it. Flour is supposed to be light and fluffy, like the fresh fallen snow. Therefore, you wanna, we don't sift it in, because that's not necessary these days. Instead, we take a large spoon and we sprinkle it in, light and fluffy like the snow. Ready? Snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. Come on, guys. Leave me hanging. Light and fluffy like a snowfall, like today, okay? That snow's not all packed until you drive over it. Right now it's light and fluffy. Now I'm gonna use the edge of my flat edge spatula, or flat edge, spatula, and gently slide it off. Okay, tear it out.
Yep.
What's that?
30.
30. Okay, so what does that tell us?
It's lighter.
The spooning in lightly is gonna give us the most light amount, which is what we want when we're baking. Now, interestingly, if you ever took a baking class, which we will be offering next spring for high schoolers, professional bakers don't really use all these measuring tools. They scale everything, meaning they weigh it on a scale, because you can get variations in your measuring tools. Yes, honey?
Don't some of them like just put the straight flour on the scale?
They probably do, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Now there's one more ingredient that's kind of fun to learn to measure, and that is called
Salt.
brown sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Can I have some?
No, but why is brown sugar brown? Are there brown sugar cane fields somewhere?
No.
What is it?
It's sugar with
It's not
food coloring.
cinnamon.
It's
What?
probably just like
Pretty much, yeah, food coloring.
It's food coloring?
Yeah.
Who else thinks they might know? Rosemary, you can go ahead and sit down, sweetie. Who else thinks they might know why brown sugar is brown? Does it come from white sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah? Hmm.
It's like chocolate milk and white milk. They come from brown cows.
Isn't it?
Milk and
It's not mixed with cinnamon, no.
white and black.
Do you want to know what it's mixed with?
Yes. Wait. Oh, it's cinnamon.
syrup.
No, it's not cinnamon.
Peanut butter.
Baking soda.
Who knows what this is?
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
No, this is not vanilla.
Molasses.
This is molasses. Have you guys ever smelled or tasted molasses?
I
Well, do it at
haven't.
your own house because it's COVID season. But it smells like gingerbread men. Okay? Now, when they add molasses in brown sugar, it's gonna make it a little softer and a little bit wet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're adding kind of a liquid to a dry, so it's kind of more of a, I don't know, it's like wet sand. Have you ever thought about that on the beach?
Yeah.
It's like wet sand. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually make a sand castle. So I'm gonna use a spoon, and I'm going to, on purpose, force my brown sugar into my dry measuring cup nice and tightly. Now the way I will know, can somebody get that timer? This is ridiculous. The way you will know that you have measured your brown sugar correctly is when it comes out like a sandcastle.
That's cool.
Now if I was measuring my white sugar and I dumped it out, it certainly would not form a molded shape, would it?
No.
No. So that's something to keep in mind when you do some baking, is when you use brown sugar, you're adding a little bit of liquid into that recipe, which is kind of good to know if you're trying to change things up. Okay, the next thing I want to show you guys is butter. Butter's kind of a tricky ingredient, but there is a little clue. Typically on the wrapper of your butter, there is like a ruler. And it'll say tablespoon, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 8, because there's a half of a cup in one stick of butter. So how many sticks of butter would be in a whole cup? Yes. 2 sticks in a whole cup, exactly. So the way you measure butter is not coming up and trying to smush it into your tablespoon. It's to use the wrapper of your butter to know exactly where those tablespoon marks are. Or if it calls for 1 cup of butter, how much would you use? 2 sticks, exactly. So that is butter. Another ingredient I want to show you is called shortening. Some people like to buy the brand name, and this is called Crisco. Now, this can be really sticky and messy, but we actually use Crisco when we make biscuits because we have to cut in a fat. So the trick I use is to get a small piece of plastic wrap, and I'm going to just kind of tuck my plastic wrap into the amount that I need, which in this case is 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to scoop out my shortening. It's just a solid fat. It's not exactly lard because it doesn't come from an animal. This is a vegetable shortening.
Does it taste good?
No, there's not any flavor. It's just kind of greasy and thick. Because when you bake a lot of things, you need different fats to cause certain reactions. Now that I have this, all I would do is take out my 1/4 of a cup of shortening and plop it into my dish, and I won't have nearly as much grease to try to clean up. Okay, so that's just a shortcut for how to measure shortening. Now, the next thing I want to show you and teach you about is how to actually measure liquids. So for these purposes, we're going to stick to water. Another thing I didn't explain very well was we also have our measuring spoons. And if I were measuring brown sugar with these, I would do the same thing. Pack it. For flour, I would lightly spoon it and level it off, okay? So for liquids, like I said, we have a quart, which is how many cups? 4. We have a pint, which is half of a quart, which is equal to how many cups? 2. And we have a half a pint, which is equal to how many cups? 1.
Good job, Monster.
Okay. Girls, did you have a question? Okay. Now I would like, you come on up. What's your name again?
I don't
Betty.
Don't remember. Okay, I don't remember. Come on up here, and I would like you to show me how to measure 1 cup of water.
You take the.
Don't do it. You're gonna do it.
Alright.
So here she goes, guys. I need you to stay focused, please. So I don't remember. Turn the water on, and she measured a cup of water. Go ahead and put that down for us. You think that's right? Who thinks she did it correctly?
Wait, no, she didn't do it correctly.
What didn't she do correctly,
She was
darling?
supposed to put it on the table, and then wait till it was like flat and still, and
Flat
then
and
look.
still.
And
Did
then
she
look.
need to get down eye level?
Yeah.
She did, yeah. Now, fortunately, hers is not too far off. But sometimes when you look at it from a different angle, it can change. And so you want to make sure to let all the waves settle down and then get down eye level and look straight into it to make sure the water is accurate. Now, how many cups did we say was in a quart?
4.
4. Did you know that there are 4 quarts in a gallon?
No.
How many cups are in a gallon?
16.
16, yes. And did you know that there are 2 cups in a pint, which is half of a quart?
I don't know any of this right.
Did you know that? 2 cups in a pint, which is half of a quart. And we know that there are 4 quarts in a gallon. So how many pints are in a gallon?
So there's a certain amount.
How many pints are in a gallon? You know?
8.
Excellent. 8 pints in a gallon. Very good. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to do an activity where you're going to practice these measuring skills. And we're going to make microwave pizza in a bowl.
Oh no.
It's really good. Kids love it, but this will be a great way for me to observe you guys practicing the techniques we learned today.